It was all a dream. I swear it never happened.
Hi guys, we're here again with another rant. It's Triiinity
and Amiiiri.
Yes, spirit twins, twin flames,
on
all
fire
that.
and shit.
We're here to smoke again too, as we always do. We
Because
want to
we're
share it with
always
y'all.
smoking.
Always smoking, but we want to smoke with y'all.
Yeah, man.
So, topic, dear.
Yes. Okay. What was the topic? Okay, the topic for today is from the wonderful, beautiful Queen J Mystique.
Yes.
And
the lovely.
And her topic was, and I quote, hipsters or whatever that is. Okay. So yeah, that's the topic for today. Hipsters.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Right. Okay. Ready? Are you ready to get into this shit?
Blaze up.
Oh wait, shit.
Blaze
I can't get into deep shit yet. Okay, wait. Hold up. Okay. None of that deep shit. We finna smoke. We finna smoke. I ain't finna say none of that deep shit till I get a little high. Because who knows?
So hipsters.
Alright, so first let's get a working definition. If you characterize yourself as a hipster, do not get automatically offended, because I'm gonna tell you right now what I mean. Because sometimes I say hipster, like I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna throw on the hipster glasses or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not like totally in rejection of the term. So I understand, the hipster uniform and shit like that, whatever. And sometimes I'm wearing the hipster uniform, so I can't, whatever. Anyways, if we say, just because we say hipster, don't automatically be like, oh shit, they finna talk shit about me. Don't automatically get offended. However, we may be finna talk shit about you if the boot fits. It's a description that you fit, and then we finna talk about you. The term hipster, to me, when I think of what's offensive about the term hipster and how I actually don't like to be referred to as a hipster or refer to myself as a hipster, it's because I feel like it's like a watered down version of a hippie.
Yeah,
it's the watered down version. It's like a hippie.
Version.
If you take away everything that they actually care about
and
stand for,
what
and you just
meant
make
to
it
be one,
right? And you just make it a style of dress
to wear,
and you just make it
to be
trendy
and to
pretend,
down on everyone
right?
Else.
And trendy to pretend that you don't go with what's mainstream, because
cool
you're
with
so
everyone
cool
else
that you go against the grain. No. Like, enlightenment and being a hippie is not just about being defiant and going against what everybody says, and
it's
just
not
going against what people say is normal or right, or if somebody says it's a cool song and you're like, that can't be a cool song because it's mainstream. Like, no, that's not what being a hippie is about. Being a hippie is about liking what you like, and and it doesn't matter if it's mainstream or not. Usually hippies don't like mainstream stuff. It's true, but it's not because it's mainstream or because it's whatever. It's not just like a standard. I have a standard response like a robot. If it's not mainstream, then I like it. If it is, then I don't. You know what I mean? It's like, and it becomes you fitting a stereotype when you fit this hipster category, when you're pretending to believe.
Because it's like hipster at one point was a real thing. Just like to be a hippie back in the 70s at one point was a thing. Like, it was a thing, like, to be not caring about what everyone else thinks and to do your own thing, But then when it becomes like a way of dress and like, I'm a hipster.
Here's the problem with hipsterism. Like, it's against pop culture, but it's become pop culture.
But it's so pop culture, exactly.
It's pop culture to be hipster now. So everybody doesn't like this because it's mainstream. Everybody is so above this and that and so whatever. And it's like, and this is what people think hippies are about. This is what people who they think enlightened people who are, I feel like myself, like Triiinity, they discredit us because of the fact that these are the people who are dressed in their movement uniform.
Exactly.
But they're not actually about the movement.
But not ready to move. They're not ready
to move. They got on their movement uniform.
And then you ask them a question and they're just like, what?
There's no actual information. There's no
like,
anything. So you just thought hippie style was cute. You just thought it was cute to, like, rock ripped clothes with your afro. Shout out to hippie. Shout out. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You thought it was cute to just, oh yeah, I got an afro. Oh yeah, I DIY stuff. And oh yeah, I smoke and I don't give a fuck. That doesn't make you a hippie. That does make you, however, a pop culture ass hipster.
Exactly.
So have that if you like.
Have that.
But hipsters drive me crazy. Why? Because they discredit the hippie movement because they are hippie watered down into a trend.
Exactly. It's no longer about doing your own thing. It doesn't matter what you like. You just have to just be against everyone else. Like, that's just ridiculous.
And also with this hipster movement, it's getting harder and harder for enlightened people to tell when they meet other enlightened people. Because you're wearing the enlightened mask as a hipster.
Trickery.
Yeah, you're wearing this enlightened mask.
It breaks me down every time.
Yeah, and you're talking about on the surface it appears the same things as I'm talking about. You know, you're talking about freedom and you're talking about wisdom and you're talking about growth, but then when I actually like talk to you about it, you're not talking about none of those things. You don't live like that. You're not actually about those things. It's just cool to be a free spirit right now. It's cool to be free and it's cool to be totally man and like it's hip to be a hippie. So these hipsters are pop culture hippies. Like nobody likes the pop culture version of the authentic shit. Like come on, nobody does. Nobody does. I feel like I live this shit for real, daily, every day. So I feel like it's blasphemy when a motherfucker walking around wearing a me costume, bitch. Like,
they are, and then it's just like,
I don't like it.
But you're not me though. It ain't Ralph though. Like,
it ain't Ralph level though.
It ain't Ralph though. Like, it ain't Ralph though. Just straight up.
Don't make me laugh. Well, I don't have any more to say about hipsters. Okay. Let me say all the things that hipster can apply to too. I don't want you to just think about specific, you know, like the specific kids, you know, who have, you know, afros and like big glasses or whatever. You know, I don't want you to think about like a specific look. But these hipsters, they're masquerading in every way, shape, or form. Some of them, they don't necessarily focus on the trend aspect of how, you know, like how to be swaggy like a hipster and how to dress like a hipster, but they focus on faking all the things that the hippies cared about. Like they focus on brushing across the surface. And the thing is, I'm not saying you have to be able to recite this knowledge verbatim or do anything like that. It's all about application. So I see this reflection in your life and how you live and when you speak to me, how, you know, the vibes I get.
Because
and stuff
the thing
like that.
is, if you really feel this shit,
it'll come off you. Like,
really
especially when you're talking to somebody who also feels
who
this
really
way,
feel this
it's
shit.
gonna
like,
just come off
crazy.
of you. Like
it's crazy.
It's somebody who really cares.
People who really like fuck with us know, like, when you're around us, we talk about this shit all the time because we live this shit. Like,
it's gonna come up.
The shit.
It's gonna come up when we watching TV. It's gonna come up, you know, because something is gonna prompt the conversation. Because I'm gonna be like, damn, I see how this applied theory of what bullshit is going on TV. Or I see how they perpetuate something opposite than what we're supposed to be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like in normal life, you see everyday occurrences of this shit. So we talk about that kind of shit because that's the shit we care about. So that's what's like coming off of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's
all
like,
the time. So we can tell like when it's not the same.
When a motherfucker just put together a couple terms.
Because what you're
like,
and the thing
blah,
is
blah,
what
blah,
you're all about literally
like,
comes off of you. Like whatever you're about, that's what comes off you all the time. Like whatever you're about. So we feel like we can see exactly when you're not giving off what we're giving off, like immediately.
Exactly, especially
and
you can't trick people who work on such a
and the people who make it
level
in,
too.
And then we find out that shit like kills us inside.
Squashed. It's always sucky when you like give somebody way more. This is what I'm trying to say. This is a warning. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is these hipsters aren't necessarily just the ones who like wear hipster clothes. Some of them don't focus on the trend part. They focus on hippie beliefs, but not actually believing them. So, you know, everybody's at different phases and levels of enlightenment. Here's the thing, and we discussed this the other day. We went through our different levels, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying one level is lower than the other, so don't get me twisted. But we went through our different levels, different strokes, different folks, different time, whatever. We went through our different levels. But when I had my level, I went ham for whatever my level was. If all I was talking about was civil rights or whatever, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but if all I was talking about was civil rights,
that's what the fuck I was
all
talking
I was talking about when I was in NAACP and when I was going hard in the paint for like black rights. Black rights is the biggest problem right now. When that was my belief. When that was my belief, guess what I went hard for? Black rights. You know what I'm saying? Like I went hard for what I believed in. You know, and so now that my belief is
I'm gonna be like real as shit. When I didn't give a fuck about shit, I didn't give a fuck about shit. And that's true. That's true. Never faked it. Never faked it. Never faked it. I didn't give a fuck about shit, and that was a period in my life.
And
I accept that, and I moved past that.
And the thing is, hey, you know, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you should necessarily broadcast your feelings on the subject, but if you're gonna broadcast your feelings, broadcast your true feelings. Like like I said, if all I care about is the Black Rights Movement, and I feel like that is the biggest problem in today's world that today's world is facing, then that's what you're gonna see me talk about. That's what you're gonna see me give off. You know what I mean? And when that was what I thought the biggest problem going on in the world was, that was what I was on my soapbox about. No, we need to be equal and do this and do that and whatever. I was on my soapbox about what was in my heart. When it became more about everyone and it became more about this, that, and this and that, you know what I'm saying? It's like now this is what I'm on my soapbox about because, not because it's cool right now, but because that's what's in my heart.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, like for instance, if you're on like a light skin, dark skin soapbox.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like your main struggle of life. Like that's something that like
that's what
really
like
it really bothers
like,
you. You know what I'm saying? Like then, and you're like talking about how maybe we shouldn't talk about light skin and dark skin so much, and it should be all about blackness and oneness and blah blah blah. But you tell girls that they're pretty for dark skinned girls.
Yeah.
Well, if you you know what I'm saying, like if you really are against this skin struggle, but you're like, oh yeah, she's so pretty for a dark skinned girl. Oh, well, are you really past this struggle? You know what I'm saying? I know part of this maybe you don't realize how you really feel, but then it be so blatant. Like that example is too blatant for you to not. I can't feel like you don't realize that you're not at that level. Like you are masquerading as somebody who cares about skin issues, and then perpetuating skin issues. On the other hand, like
I can't understand
the problem.
Like I literally can't understand.
And that's a lot of these hipsters today. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make with people who are in movements for trends. Anything I talk about, I try to be about. So what bothers me about a hipster, in the terms that we're talking about, not all hipsters, but hipster as the term that we describe, what bothers me is the mask. It bothers me that you're part of the problem and you're pretending to be a part of the solution.
That's the actual problem.
And it's like, damn, I feel sorry for you if you have been introduced to the information and you just rejected it that hard to the point that you could pretend like you believe it, but you don't. Like damn.
It's crazy.
That bothers me. And the thing is, it's like, eventually you'll be found out by the reals. I feel like eventually, because we work off of vibes and we work off so much stuff, and because honestly, enough things are gonna happen just because this is the person you are, this is the person I am, enough things are gonna happen.
Especially because
I realize,
love conversation.
Right. So enough things are gonna happen to the point that I realize I gave you more credit than you deserved. I'm gonna realize that you're a fraud, and I gave you more credit than you deserved.
Maybe sometimes it's my fault.
Sometimes it's my fault, and I let it slip by.
I judged a book by its cover instead of reading the inside flap.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they look like they'll be cool or whatever. I'm guilty of it. Damn.
It happened.
And then they were cool, I guess, for someone else. So yeah, but ultimately it's just don't trick us, man. Just be who you are. In this era, I really care about people just like being who they are.
Even
Go for
if you
what
don't
you
give
believe.
a fuck, I swear. Even if you don't give a fuck,
don't give a fuck.
Just don't give a fuck. Just be real. Just be real about it. Be real about it.
Whatever you go hard for is what you go hard for.
We fuck with you more knowing that you don't give a fuck than you pretending like you give a fuck, and we find out you don't give a fuck. Then we're just not gonna fuck with you at all. Exactly.
All I'm saying
None of that is
whatever your movement is. Respect that. Respect that enough to let that be what you give life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your movement is, embrace that shit and move towards it, and we'll all move in progression together. And we don't mean to offend anybody. We just mean to open your mind. Tell us your thoughts. If you feel like I'm a hipster and that's not what it is, whatever, talk to us. Let us know, man. But like I said, by that working definition of hipster, those are the people I'm talking to. And I'm asking you to stop. Take up your own cause and be true, man. We love you. Free Spirit Life is all about being free, man.
Being free and
being free to be you.
And being true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Be free to be your motherfucking self.
And knowing yourself, man.
At the end of the day. Yeah. And by being yourself, you get to know yourself.
Exactly.
By being true to what do I really like? What do I really care about? Away from all the people
I care about.
Backing away from society and what they say is important and what they say is entertaining and what they say is great. What do I
that
really
little
like?
voice in the back
What
of
do I
your
really
head.
care about? What do I really want to be doing?
Exactly.
You know, and just whatever that is, be true to that, man. And find out what that is, and if you don't like parts of it, change it. But literally change it. Don't pretend to change it, you know? So just be true to whatever level you're on and keep progressing and growing. We love you guys. The Free Spirit Tribe always, man.
Always.
Keep growing and progressing with us.
We love you guys.
Salud.
Salud.